Good morning, folks. We've got another day. Single digit temperatures. It's like, make sure it's unlocked. No, okay. Oh no, it's still stuck. Might not be going in this way. Okay, we're gonna do an old cold start. And we're gonna talk about some things. All right, see what we're at. 7 degrees. 7 degrees. Let's let this baby warm up a little bit. Get our windshield clear after. Take the dog out. Oh, there he is. Let's go be a good boy, buddy. Come on, let's go be a good boy. You know it's cold out. Brrr. You got icicles because the insulation on this roof kind of sucks. We gotta. Okay. All right, let's not die tonight here, folks. This morning. Turn that light on. Come on, buddy. Come on. I live in a pretty modest home. Let's put it that way. It's nice. It's just small and it's old, so it's got some quirks to it. All right, we've taken care of the dog. Oh. No, wait. Come on, baby. There we go. Woo! It's cold. We've had quite the real New York State winter, folks. So far, I've said that in like the last every video I've made because it's the truth. Today we're going to talk about how cars are running out of features. Now I know what you're thinking to yourself. What do you mean? Cars have more and more features every single day, every year. That's why they've gotten so expensive, because they have super ultra mega platinum limited models, blah blah blah. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay, so you've got yourself a, let's say, a 1995 Chevy K1500, okay, back in the day. And you've got the Silverado trim model, or maybe in the 80s you go to the Silverado trim, okay? That gave you features like power windows, AC, you know, what we would consider very basic stuff now. It basically gave you a modern, like, work truck package with a little bit nicer, kind of visually appealing interior. But feature set wise, it wasn't much different than a work truck today. So in that sense, features have definitely have definitely increased over time. There's way more features now than before. So from the 90s, like the mid 90s to the mid 2000s, we definitely had a major increase in features. You know, you started to introduce things like power folding mirrors, DVD players in the, you know, for the back seat. What else? Like air suspension and like kind of like Escalade and stuff like that. So there really was a lot of truly new features. And as you approach the 2010s, you start getting backup cameras. You start getting a lot of these like proximity sensors and some of the collision detection type stuff. And in some more modern vehicles, you know, 2015 up, we start to get to the like pseudo self-driving things like the adaptive cruise control and the lane keep assist and all those kind of things, okay? So there have been a lot of truly impactful, whether you like them or not, they are impactful, right? They have an impact. Changes to vehicles as time has gone on. Unfortunately, I think in the last 3 to 5 years, that progress has dramatically slowed. And hear me out. I'm going to use pickup trucks as a microcosm, and then we're going to drift into full-size SUVs, just because I can, just because it's like an easy one to do. We'll talk a little bit more about other stuff after, but let's start off with the pickup truck realm. So this is an 05 Silverado. I purposely drove this truck today, or made this video today for this. All right, and let's just think about some things that it has. It actually has power folding mirrors. That's what that square button's for. It's got heated seats. It obviously has power mirrors. It has auto dimming mirrors, which you can actually see if you look close. They're dimmed right now because it's nighttime. It's got a pretty basic, albeit a little bit advanced, you know, with having the timer. It's got engine hours. Then you've also got like fuel range, fuel use, economy, oil life, which I had never reset anymore. I just go by mileage. Anyway, so it's got some of those kind of like display information center dick features that like a new Chevy would have, or any other brand for that matter. Again, much more basic, but it's got some of it. And frankly, most of it, I would say. HVAC controls, dual zone, and they're automatic, right? You set the temperature. So it's got a lot of that kind of stuff. Obviously power windows. It's got much more basic power ports, like 12 volt ports and stuff, but it does have 12 volt ports. It's got an okay sized console, nothing compared to a new truck, but decently sized. So by the time you hit the mid 2000s, if you got a higher trim like this truck is, oh yeah, leather seats, you got really quite a few features. Dimming rear view mirror, passenger side airbag, turn on and off. So a lot of this stuff started to come about in the mid 2000s. Anyway, so you kind of ask yourself, all right, well, look at a new truck now, and all the extra features. Yes, like I just said, a 2024, 2025, 20-year newer truck will have the potential to have, air suspension and massaging seats if it's a Ford, just better leather, better dashboards, all that kind of stuff. Big screens, that's the one thing this truck's missing. But I digress. So there has been movement. But if you go from like 2020 to right now, to 2025, they've added barely any features. By the time you hit 2020, all the screens in these trucks were pretty large. Chevy was a little behind at that point, but they were all pretty good size. They all had 360 cameras of some sort. They all had, if they were going to have massaging seats, they already had them, like the Ford. I think Ram had them by then. I think so anyway. Just that kind of stuff. All your tow capacities, all your engine power has been pretty similar since then. Obviously, some of the diesels have really started to creep up, but that's been the horsepower wars with diesels and the torque wars for 20 years now. Easily 20 years now. Probably ever since the Duramax came out and the Cummins started to get popular. But anyway, I just think that we're down to 5 degrees, by the way. I just think that we're seeing the only way that they're improving vehicles at this point is they're taking features that already exist and they're moving them, distributing them throughout the vehicle more. So if you look at just watching a review of the Infiniti, I forget, Q whatever, big SUV, full-size SUV, like a Chevy Tahoe size, Ford Expedition size. And that SUV had heated seats in the front, which at this point, even my XLT Ford F-250 has heated seats in the front. That's not surprising to anybody. And it had heated seats in the second row. Okay, a lot of modern SUVs have that, but that's a little bit more special. But what kind of caught me was it had heated seats in the third row, which maybe there's another example of that, but I hadn't heard of it. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of neat that thing has heated seats in every single seat. But then that's what got me thinking to make this video. Like, all they did, like, I saw that as impressive at first, but all they did was take a feature they already had, the heated seat, which, mind you, you could get heated seats back in the late 90s in certain vehicles, like a King Ranch F-250, F-150, or like a Cadillac Escalade type deal. And they took that feature that's existed forever and just moved it to a set of seats that didn't have it before. Which is nice, which is fine, which is cool. I don't really know how many third row seat passengers you're going to have in a vehicle that then also are just going to happen to line up with the weather so perfectly that they need the seats to be heated. But, it's there. It's a luxury vehicle. It's kind of cool. It's going to be luxury, right? If you're going to be a cheaper vehicle, be a cheaper vehicle. So I'm all for it in that sense. But it just kind of caught me off guard, and I'm like, that's interesting. That's very interesting. And because all the camera technology and stuff is pretty much the same, that's kind of the only room they have right now to innovate, and I put that in air quotes because it's not really even an innovation when you're just taking a feature you already have and distributing it amongst the vehicle. Same idea with the passenger side screens that they're putting in. Some Jeep models, there's some Ram trucks that have it now. They literally have a screen like in the dash right between those two vents for the passenger to change music and look at navigation and just kind of watch a movie, plug into it, which is like a nice enough feature, but it's just another screen. Like, it's not actually adding, it's not like a new, really revolutionary thing. It's just an evolution of like, okay, we had one screen originally, your infotainment screen. That's what they had since 2010 to 2015, right, in a lot of vehicles. And then we're like, okay, we're going to turn your gauge cluster into a screen. They then did that in pretty much every more higher trim level vehicle. And then finally they're like, okay, you have 2 screens. Well, we'll just add like a 3rd screen just because. It's what it is, I suppose. So that's just kind of what I'm getting at, right? Is all of these advancements, these innovations are not really that innovative anymore. So I'm really curious to see if in the coming years we can kind of get back to a place where they're adding brand new features. But with that being said, I don't want them to be brand new features that aren't truly helpful and aren't something that are going to like radically improve the user experience. I don't like gadgets and widgets. And like the multi-function tailgate Chevy came out with, which actually was one of the newer, was like a 2020s invention. Like it or not, it is truly innovative, and it does work well for what it's meant to do, at least as a very good step. You can kind of fold it down and sit on it, and the whole writing on it thing probably works out decent, whatever. So it does what it's supposed to do pretty well. I do think it's an example of taking a relatively simple problem, getting in the back of the bed, and finding the most complicated solution to it. But it's also a kind of a useful, complicated solution in other ways, so I'll give it somewhat of a pass. But something like Ford's tailgate step maybe was a better, slightly just simpler and easier solution to that same problem that had been around much longer. I don't know. Can kind of debate on that one, but point is, it's just like I don't want to see companies think that they have to reinvent the wheel just to make a innovation that people want to buy. I think, and this isn't as glorious and it's harder to market, but I would rather see them keep your trim levels and all of your feature sets pretty much the same, and do your innovations on the mechanical side. Gas, right? God forbid we do that. And I'm talking things like stainless steel brake lines. Advertise the fact that you have a corrosion protection package, right? Where you have a lot of stainless steel, a lot of aluminum, a lot of powder coat, like whatever it is, to make it more corrosion resistant. Because that's something that everybody knows about. Even non-car people, like, they get it because they go to their mechanic. Their mechanic says your car's totaled because this damn thing is so rusty you can't safely drive it, and they have to go buy a new car. So it's not like it's something people won't relate to in that sense. They just have to market it correctly. Like back in the day, Chevy and Ford and Ram had these commercials where they really featured the capability of the truck. Even like Chevy had that famous one where they're towing that log truck trailer, with like way overloaded. The freaking frame of the truck is bending, and it's like definitely wasn't a good idea, but they did it for their advertising. And then you got like the Like a Rock commercials where they're towing a big gooseneck up a dirt, gravel road and blah blah blah. Just like commercials like that where you advertise the capability of the truck, show a truck going through a really salty, snowy, crappy environment, and then do like a cool CGI graphic thing underneath the chassis and show a chemical reaction of salt and how it's not going to eat away the metal, and like you can make that marketable. They just choose to not put money into the things that would make the truck truly better. They instead put money into these frilly features that I think they should also have, because if people want to buy that, that's great. You may as well offer it. As long as you have a full range of trim levels, great. Give somebody a Super Mega Ultra Platinum. I have no problem with that. Just give me the underpinnings that I want. That's all. So, anywho, I think that'll wrap this one up. I've been rambling on for a while. So, as always, thanks for watching. God bless America, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.